What up, guys? Kevin here.
What's up, guys? Joe here.
Xbox. You're back, baby. Xbox is back.
I wasn't aware it was possible to get hyped for Xbox at this point, but I guess I was wrong. For context, this video of his came out right after the Xbox Developer Direct livestream, and for those who missed it, no you didn't. Because it was really lame. Literally the only thing worth talking about from that livestream was Hi-Fi Rush. Other than that, it was just boring looks at a handful of other games that aren't the projects people really want to hear about right now. I'm not saying nobody's excited for Forza or Redfall, but after such a disastrous 2022, Microsoft really needed to give us more than this. Where's Fable? Where's Gears? And what the hell is going on with Halo Infinite? And what about that Perfect Dark reboot? A bunch of leaks just came out saying that's not going to come out for like another 2-3 years, so it'd be great if you clarified even a little bit about when we should expect that. I'm not saying you can't like Xbox or that this conference was even really that bad, but for most of us, we just needed something more than that to be confident in Xbox's output. Xbox is developing a really bad habit of just waving their IP around and telling you to buy an Xbox based on the IP's legacy, when in reality, the actual game options for those IP are slim or non-existent. Fable and Perfect Dark were revealed in 2020. The last main Gears of War game came out in 2019. And Halo Infinite, that game was supposed to hold up the franchise for years to come. It's not even in the top 20 most played on Xbox. Microsoft is bordering on complete incompetence when it comes to studio and IP management, and the Developer Direct was just not the reassurance that many of us were hoping for.
Look, they had a great 2021. And they took last year off.
That's not how that works. Yeah, Xbox Game Studios had a pretty solid 2021. There were some really good Microsoft-backed games in that year. But that doesn't mean you can just take the next year off. Especially when your 2021 games have the longevity of a fucking Slim Jim. Like, Halo Infinite started out really strong, but now where is it? Forza Horizon 5 started out really strong, and now where is it? I mean, like, at least Forza got some news, but we're still totally in the dark on what the hell the plan is for the flagship franchise. And again, I can't stress enough that Microsoft announced a new Fable game and a new Perfect Dark game almost 3 years ago, and have not said a word about them since. And, like, where the fuck is Starfield through all this? Like, I know you're probably going to show Starfield off later in the year at, like, a Bethesda conference, but, like, if you're going to delete Bethesda RPGs from the PlayStation in order to sell more Xboxes, the strategy would be a lot more effective if you actually released a fucking Bethesda RPG.
And they're coming out swinging this year.
Hi-Fi Rush was a great start to 2023, you're right. Really makes you wish we knew more about what Xbox was up to. Also, Tango Gameworks isn't even close to being a Microsoft studio. Like, yeah, Hi-Fi Rush wasn't available on PlayStation, but Tango's last game wasn't available on Xbox, so like how is this representative of Microsoft?
We got GoldenEye coming out here in a couple days. Get to relive my childhood.
Yeah, guys, get hyped for 2023 because we're getting an N64 remaster. Cool.
And we'll get to the game that's stealth launching today, which I saw a tweet, someone mentioned it, like, why wouldn't you promote this?
Because stealth launches are cool. Also, with how bad Xbox's reputation is right now, I think stealth launching it was the best call instead of doing a lengthy marketing campaign. People don't really trust Xbox's word anymore, so yeah, why not just drop it and let people see for themselves instead of having people try to guess what's gonna go wrong in a few months when it comes out? Because you know that's what would have happened if they marketed this. And whose fault could that possibly be?
Everyone's complaining you got no games, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Everyone's complaining you've got no games, but definitely don't release more games as soon as possible. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
This Developer Direct was awesome. It was a state of play, a less robotic state of play, and Nintendo Direct. Those are just game.
People are complaining about you not having games, but we're going to talk down on companies that typically release more games. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And that's what I want, but I don't want developers being interviewed. I actually kind of appreciate this a little bit more. Just developers talking about the games and showing gameplay. I don't mind the few minutes here and there showing the developers themselves.
So developer interviews are bad, but also developer interviews are good. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I like getting a sneak peek into offices as well. And Shinji Mikami, the dude's a legend. But I don't know, just gave it more personality, a little bit more soul.
I mean, yeah, sure, but at the end of the day, they only discussed 5 games, so it's not hard to see the difference there. Microsoft and Sony showcases are usually more rapid fire with game trailers or more heavy focus on raw gameplay, and that's why people get so hyped for them, and it's also why people don't really mind the developer interviews regardless of energy level, because there's just way more news being relayed to us. And before anyone comments this, I know Microsoft told us to keep our expectations in check before the developer direct or whatever, but also people need to realize that's not an excuse for the content drought. Like, just because Microsoft acknowledged that they're bad at communicating doesn't mean they're excused for being bad at communicating.
Then the state of plays and Nintendo Directs. Now let's get to the games. They started off with Minecraft Legends. I don't care.
That makes all of us.
I don't care. And I got this dump truck driving around me. He's like, oh, you're going to record, bitch? Not with me around. But Minecraft Legends, coming out April 18th. I don't care about Minecraft Legends, but it's going to be huge. It's Minecraft. Even Minecraft Dungeons did absolutely well.
What does absolutely well mean? I mean, the most recent numbers I could find say Minecraft Dungeon has over 15 million players, which I would absolutely say is a successful game, but we also need to remember that this game is literally on every platform. There's even an arcade cabinet, apparently. Minecraft is definitely a popular IP, but it just isn't the kind of Xbox-related thing people want news about right now. Minecraft will always do well, no matter what, so Minecraft doing well isn't indicative of anything the Xbox brand is doing right. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Something I really appreciated is even the multi-platform games, they emphasize Xbox. They didn't bring up PlayStation. I don't think they even brought up Nintendo.
I mean, 2 out of the 5 games they showed off are literally on every platform, so I'm not sure where you're getting that from.
They just said other platforms, but they really, really emphasize this is Xbox. Day one on Game Pass. I really appreciate that.
I genuinely don't know where you're getting this from. I watched the whole conference, and all I saw were a bunch of multiplats that were at least partially funded by Microsoft.
Then going into Forza Motorsport. I think it's just called Forza Motorsport.
Yep, the 8th Forza Motorsport game is just called Forza Motorsport, because the modern gaming industry is so fucking vapid that we're just rebooting everything. And isn't it convenient that by rebooting a franchise, you now have the excuse to not match or surpass the amount of content or quality in the previous game? Like, obviously there are exceptions, but I can't be the only one to notice the convenient overlap of same-name franchise reboots, and franchise reboots that are way worse than what came before it. That is, unless I just imagined the Modern Warfare reboot, the Battlefront reboot, the Medal of Honor reboot, the SimCity reboot, the Thief reboot, the Battletoads reboot, the Sonic reboot, the Turok reboot, the Saints Row reboot, or the Need for Speed reboot. Which seems unlikely.
Holy crap, that game looked awesome. Forza Horizon 5 is the best looking game out there ever.
I mean, yeah, it's up there, I'll give you that. Although I'd advise against implying a game is good because it's pretty, because then we'd have to start giving points to Naughty Dog and Bloober Team. And I don't want to do that.
It just is just so realistic. And of course, there's just going to be more of that in Forza Motorsport.
Wow, you Xbox fans really are that easy to impress, huh? Graphics, that's it. That's literally all you said about the game, and you're hyped about it.
And I think I'll check it out. I haven't checked out a Forza like Motorsport game since Forza 1 on the original Xbox.
That's a weird thing to present to your fan base after hyping up a Forza game. Like, yeah, by all means, be excited for it. It's just weird to hype up a franchise and then be like, oh yeah, I haven't played it in 20 years.
I think this one may get me. It looks so realistic, on-track ray tracing, and I think this is why I really did appreciate seeing the developers actually talk about the game.
So Xbox developer interviews good, PlayStation developer interviews bad. Got it.
Just really just showing so much gameplay and just talking about all the features and everything. And
did we get much Forza gameplay? Like, there were a bunch of little snippets, but raw gameplay? We, like, barely got any of that.
I don't know. I really did appreciate it. Really did appreciate it. And then we go into Hi-Fi Rush from Tango Gameworks. Now, I was really disappointed. He showed Shinji Mikami and this other fool. And then they show this game. I'm like, this isn't Evil Within 3.
Why in God's name would you want Evil Within 3?
But then I remember, oh yeah, they don't miss. Evil Within 1, I loved. Evil Within 2, I loved. Ghostwire Tokyo, I really enjoyed that game. In Hi-Fi Rush, I was worried at first because it looked like an arena brawler.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
But it actually I believe is more single player focus
than an arena brawler.
I think it's going to be short. I will get to that in a minute.
No, please speed this up. I have things to do.
But the game looks like, I would say, Sunset Overdrive meets Jet Set Radio Future, or whatever it was called.
I mean, I would have called it Metal Hellsinger plus Devil May Cry, but I guess that works.
And it looks really good. Now, they did say it's one of those, it's a rhythm game, like a rhythm brawler. And Metal Hellsinger, I played that last year, and the keeping with the beat was quite annoying.
Xbox fans play literally any unconventional action game challenge, impossible 100% fail.
Now, they did emphasize, like, you don't have to stay with the beat. It'll be a little bit of a bonus if you do, but you absolutely don't have to. The whole game jives to the beat. So, pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome that I don't have to play this rhythm game as a rhythm game. Oh my god.
And it launches today. Launches today on Game Pass, which I just find funny. Like, everyone's yelling at Xbox that, hey, where's the games? Where's the games? Not only are we getting GoldenEye, but we're getting Hi-Fi Rush today.
Wait, weren't you just complaining about the stealth launch? And again, GoldenEye shouldn't be a replacement for new first-party output, or at least a handful of updates about where your first-party projects are. Like, yeah, cool, GoldenEye's a good game and all, but it really shouldn't be enough to excuse everything else. People are concerned about the state of Xbox Game Studios for a reason. Remastering a Rareware game from a quarter century ago is not going to change that.
Today. Saw someone like, they could have mentioned that at the Game Awards, because it looks awesome. I'm like reading the tweets. Everyone's like, oh, this looks so good. This looks so good. And then it stealth launches today. So very cool on Xbox to do something like that. I didn't know Xbox had it in them. I feel like they're so far back. They're so far back behind like Sony and Nintendo. It's like, let's just get the games. Let's just make the games and get a release date. And they're like, yeah, we'll give you release dates and we'll stealth drop one game today.
I'm so confused as to how you feel about stealth launches now.
Yeah, pick one. Pick one.
That really came out of nowhere. Back to Forza Motorsport. Disappointed that we didn't get a release date. But again, I think that game is ready. I think they're being strategic now because they're going to have a lot of games.
Oh, they're going to have a lot of games. A lot of games. Assuming you're still talking about the 5 games shown off at the conference, one of them's already out, and one of them is fucking Elder Scrolls Online. So I really don't know where you're getting the lot of games from, because if I were still an Xbox fan right now and I wasn't interested in getting the PC, the PlayStation would be looking really appealing. Or I would just get a PC. And I don't mean to sound like I'm flip-flopping on my opinions about the Xbox here or exclusives and stuff like that, because I'm really just trying to play both sides. I personally couldn't give a shit less about the Xbox or PlayStation as consoles because I have a PC. But I absolutely care about them as influential game publishers and IP owners. If Xbox succeeds with something, PlayStation is going to follow suit, and vice versa. So when Xbox starts just sitting on their IP and not doing anything with it, you should see why I get a little concerned about where all this is going.
Especially if Activision Blizzard goes through, they're going to have a lot of games. So I think they're at the point where they're like Nintendo, where they can hold games back and just release them when it works for Xbox.
Holding games back is a good way to put it, yes.
In their schedule. So that's good to see. Then, what was next? Necrom. Elder Scrolls Online Necrom.
Yeah, one of the 5 games Microsoft decided to show off here was an MMO that's existed for some time already. Because there couldn't possibly have been any other game they could have shown off instead.
People get mad at Elder Scrolls Online, like, oh, come on, why do you keep showing this? I played it about a few months ago, and I actually had a really good time, and it does have a huge player install base.
Yeah, ESO is a massive game with a massive player base, and pretty much everyone who's into video games knows about it. So why did it take up 20% of the live stream?
So, it's a good update. To me, it's like Minecraft Legends. Don't really care, but cool that it's there. And I did have fun with it when I played it, so I guess if there is no other games to play, which I don't see that happening anytime soon.
You know, unless you like Halo, or Gears, or Bethesda RPGs.
I probably would dive more into Elder Scrolls Online. I actually had a good time with it. Show more of it. Looks cool. I guess all the DLC expansions are, I don't know if they're like free forever, but free to check out.
Free trials of stuff like this is a very good thing. Yes, you're correct about that. Common ground. Common ground.
That's a good thing, even though I don't like it. I'll talk about that in a second here, but you can start any expansion that's ever launched on Elder Scrolls Online right away. The reason why I don't like it is I'm having such a blast with Final Fantasy XIV.
I will say it's pretty cool to see MMOs finally make a splash on consoles. That's been an interesting development over the last few years. It's nice to see the console market expanding a bit.
Because it's like one long, huge, epic story that really builds on playing the previous expansion and the previous expansion and the previous expansion and Realm Reborn. And you can't get to, let's say, Endwalker without playing a Realm Reborn.
There were so many words in that 18-second clip that I just don't understand. Like, I just blacked out after a while. I have no clue what any of that meant.
Heavensward, Stormblood, Shadowbringers. I mean, you can buy a skip, but you're really not doing yourself a favor.
Yeah, it happened again. It happened again.
And it just makes it so grand and epic. It feels like a Tales or a Trails, the Trails games, the Trails series, because it just builds off one after another.
You know, the Tales of the Trails series, my favorite. Also, I know you said Trails, but my brain auto-corrected it to Trials, and now I want to go play Trials. So I'm going to call this one here and go play Trials, because I think this video is long enough, and there's probably nobody still watching, and we're not going to make any new points going forward, so here are my closing thoughts. Microsoft is almost entirely incompetent when it comes to studio management, IP management, and franchising their games. A re-release here or there, or a third-party game here or there, it's not enough to excuse them from criticism, nor should it be. The Xbox is being outsold by the PlayStation pretty drastically yet a fucking again this generation, because no matter how pro-consumer you are or how much cheaper you are than the competition, the Xbox brand's first-party output simply is not up to snuff. Again, I'm a PC gamer. I'm not affected by this at all. I eat everyone's games, and they're delicious. But do you ever wonder if it's a coincidence that you Xbox fans are constantly letting Microsoft off the hook and then scratching your heads as to why PlayStation keeps doing better than them at every possible turn? Do you ever wonder what happened between the Xbox 360 and now? Microsoft's first-party output has gotten embarrassing, and they've completely alienated almost all of their long-term fans. They killed Halo, they're on their way to killing Gears, and none of their new IP are really enough to sustain anything because, well, they really aren't making any new IP. Xbox may be the cheapest option on the market right now, and they certainly have the most games thanks to backwards compatibility, but they are seriously slacking in the actual next-gen gaming race, and if they don't bring the big guns soon, they may end up being the next Sega. Do you ever wonder why Sega backed out of the console race entirely and just started focusing on making games instead? It's a cautionary tale, but it may be very relevant in the near future. Toodles.